Sharon staggered back from the bathroom, where she had unswallowed what she'd drunk and much of what she'd eaten. Daphne slid the unpaid check toward her with raised eyebrows and a cold smile. Guy and Val ditched the SUV in a parking lot and flagged down a cab, taking it deep into the city. "Where to?" asked the driver. "The best place for lunch," Guy said. He put his arm around Val's shoulders and she snuggled in with her head on his chest. "Let me drive," Daphne said. "No." "Let me drive. Sharon, you're wasted. You were drinking too. Besides, heck, I'm undrunk now." "How do you figure?" "I'm on an empty stomach again. I'll be fine." "You're not gonna be fine. You're gonna get pulled over and arrested for..." "On second thought, maybe you should drive. You're a passenger, Daphs. Heck, and don't you forget it." "Oh, I won't. We better get this show on the road." The driver pulled up at a curb and pointed at a building. "You like duck?" "I love duck," Val said. "On top of this hotel, on the roof, they got amazing duck with a blackberry sauce." The driver kissed his fingertips and exploded them. "Mwah! Cardamom mashed potatoes, carrots confit, great cocktails, you'll love it." "You moonlighting as the concierge?" Guy asked. "Guilty." They paid and got out, looking up at the hotel. Val smiled and said, "Our first date. Let's get a photo." Feeling like the president's men would be out looking for them anywhere but there in the open, they were in the clear, at least for the time being. Guy leaned in for her selfie. They both grinned from ear to ear. Click. "Hey, where's your bat gun, the pistol thing?" "You're kidding," he said. "No, take it out and pose with it. You've got to." Sigh. "Okay, sure." Unzipping the backpack, he pulled out the grapple pistol, holding it up and pulling a face. They both giggled. Click. When Val brought the phone down to look at the photos, Guy saw that it had been blocking the view of a car that looked familiar. But she thumbed out of the camera and into the picture gallery, and they laughed at themselves. "Okay, we better go in," he said. "There's going to be a curfew, and we'd better eat. Then we have to find my car." "And where are we going in your car, mister?" "We're going to have to start running, I imagine." That sobered them both for a moment. "Yeah," she said. "I have a feeling we'll be running till the cows freeze over." Guy burst out laughing, and she asked, "What?" He pulled her to him, and she looked up into his eyes, her heart beginning to pound. "Our first kiss," she said quietly. Both of them tingled with butterflies as if they were blushing teenagers all over again. She reached up and held the lapels of his topcoat, pulling his face down. As he crushed his lips to hers, he heard a familiar song, the sultry crooning tenor sax of Denis Soleil. "You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch." There had never in his life been a moment more beautiful. How perfect that that song should be playing. He'd only ever heard it on his Christmas playlist. Their lips parted with a smack and they smiled, deliriously happy, and turned to see a British racing green Chimera, top up, idling next to the curb, facing them. Close enough to turn on the Bluetooth stereo on his phone automatically, but far enough away to obscure the faces of who was inside. For no good reason, the windshield wipers came on. "Uh-oh," Guy said, wrapping one protective arm around Valentina. Inside, Sharon was furiously pushing buttons. Guy heard the clank of a missile loaded into place beneath the chassis. He aimed his grapple pistol up at a window of the hotel and fired, saying, "Hold on!" She crushed herself to him and they shot up into the air, a split second before a hot wind blew underneath them, leaving a trail of smoke to hang where they had just stood and stretched toward God knows where. Christ almighty, he thought. Here we go again. And now, a reading from the sequel. January 6, 2021, 8:07 p.m. Guy's fingers found cold stone and nothing else. Wind swept alongside the hotel's facade, biting into his face as Val's boot slipped against the sill beside him. "Don't look down," he said, his feet kicking at the empty winter air. "I wasn't," she said, "not looking up either." Then the ledge juddered from a shock wave and the world went white, stinging pebbles, plaster, and a ringing silence. Then alarms, screams, desperate wind clawed at their clothes, glass dust clung to their faces. Guy's left hand locked on the window frame, his right kept Valentina pinned to the ledge. 4 stories down, the British racing green Chimera idled beside a snowy sidewalk, a dissipating trail of smoke leading from its undercarriage to the gaping hole in a nearby building across the way. Fire had belched from the shattered masonry, and now black smoke billowed out of it. Sirens braided through the night behind them. Somewhere to their right, a window AC dripped like a metronome, counting out all the ways this could end badly. Val's hand slid, nails catching chalk-dry mortar. "Decision time," Val said, her breath white in the cold. "This way or that way?" "Up," Guy said, because down was concrete in a corner. He shifted, ignoring the roar in his forearms, and groped blindly for the grapple pistol swinging from his cord. Val's eyes were scrunched tight, so tightly that her teeth were bared, but she risked a peep upward and winced. "Hijoles," she cursed. "Dust in my eyes." "Can you blink?" "It hurts." "I know. Maybe you can blink it away?" "Trying to." She shook her head, blinked her eyes, and smacked her teeth a bit, then peered up again to see the grapple pistol. "It's coming back around." "Now!" He reached, and it glanced off of the heel of his hand, rebounding away. His fingers on the ledge slipped backward a few precious millimeters. "Ooh, sorry," she said, wincing again. "Rotate your hand 45 degrees. No, not that way, the other way." "Okay, now!" The grip of the pistol bounced into and back out of his hand, his fingers scrambling after it. "So close," she whispered, eyes shutting reflexively, trying to squeeze out the crumbs of plaster from the explosion. He gave up and grabbed a hold of the ledge again to regain his ground. When he had a moment to breathe and listen to the distant sirens, he dared a glance upward and got ready. Then a lunge, and he grabbed the pistol, hanging from it a moment to take the weight off of his other hand. It had lifted them up off of the sidewalk and out of the rocket's path just in time, but the cord had snagged somewhere in the mechanism during retraction, and the jolt of it left them dangling. Thankfully, the line held. Guy tested it once, then swung and wrapped his strong legs around Valentina's waist, just as her fingers slipped from the ledge. She cried out and gasped in relief as he held her. When she could open her eyes again, she met his, and he nodded. "You first." "I'm lighter," she said. "If it rips free—" "Exactly." He didn't blink. She swallowed hard and reached for the cord. He held on with his legs, nervous about letting her go, but had to if she were to escape. "You got it?" he asked, and got a hesitant nod. His mouth became a thin, hard line, and he relaxed his grip on her. She started up. The wind knifed harder. Below, the Chimera drifted forward uncertainly. Inside it, Sharon gripped the wheel with one hand and a half-finished champagne bottle with the other. Her face was raw with wind and spite, eyeliner bleeding downward like war paint. Daphne, perched shotgun, was in shock, staring at the damage they had done to the other building. "They kissed," Sharon slurred. "That bitch kissed him." "Focus," Daphne said. "We have to get the hell out of here." "She looks like a maid," Sharon seethed. "You just fired a freaking missile," Daphne said with measured calmness, "and blew up a building. The cops are coming and you're drunk." "We're drunk," Sharon corrected. "No, you're drunk, and we're going to jail for the rest of our lives if you don't start moving right now." Halfway up, Valentina stopped. "Guy." He felt the line shiver. The Eve groaned. He didn't look at the drop. He climbed, fast and clean, shoulder to shoulder with her, until they were both perched on the narrow, slippery ledge. He wiggled the pistol a little, felt it give, and pressed the release button. "Careful," he remembered to say, just as the spike came whistling down. Val covered her head desperately, just before it clanged off one side of her skull. Sharp pain lanced through her, and she groaned, Guy squinting and making an O of his mouth. He wasn't used to having company at times like this, and having to look after someone else. "Jesus," he said. Sorry. Are you okay?" "Uh-huh," she lied, nodding, her face scrunched tight. He raised the pistol to his bared teeth, biting down hard on the cord, and pulled it a little ways out of the barrel, hoping to unstick it. It resisted a moment, then stretched a little, then slipped out. He pressed the recoil button again, and it slid back inside, coiling properly. When the spike was back in place, he edged himself around on the slippery ledge, had to roll his shoulders to adjust the fabric of his pepper blue topcoat, wound back his arm, and pounded the window with it. The first blow rebounded, his arm shivering, but the second spider webbed the glass, and the third smashed a hole through it. He used the barrel to clear the greenish pebbles away, checked on Val again, and asked if she was ready. She hesitated, then nodded, each exhale a fleeting ghost in the January air. He holstered the pistol in his jacket pocket, hoping it wouldn't fall out, and put his arms around her shivering body to boost her over. "On 3, he said. 1. She moved on 2. Always would. Her knee banged his shoulder. Pain burst bright, and he used it, pushing, lifting, turning her momentum into a pivot. Her fingers hooked the frame above, elbows screaming as she hauled. He felt the moment she committed, and he followed, using a swing of her hips as leverage to clear the sill. They tumbled through the shattered window and into darkness, carpet burn, and chemical cleaner, hearts skittering like loose bullets on tile. They hit the floor inside and rolled, she ending up atop him, face inches from his. Breathing burned. For a second, they were close enough to kiss again, and momentarily stupid enough to think about it. "Romantic," she said finally. 5 seconds of it, he said, already listening for boots in the hall. "Then we run." Outside, Washington, D.C. lay under the twin shadows of a COVID curfew and the chaos still echoing from the Capitol insurrection. Sirens wailed in the distance, bouncing off of the neoclassical marble and glass. Valentina's gloved hand gripped Guy's arm tighter. Behind them, they thought they could hear the Chimera's growl reverberating through the narrow street. He thumbed the activator on the invisibility suit.